Bam! Live on YouTube. Second time today. Mark Bell this morning. Then what happened? Then I went to the lighthouse with my kids, ate a quesadilla in the rain, watched some huge waves crush. Watched some huge waves crush the California coastline. Kids squealed, had a blast there. Came back home, napped for an hour. Boys are off to jiu-jitsu, and what do? I get on a call with Linn. How did Linn pop on my radar, and where is Linn, and why isn't he on the show? You know, I don't think people know the show is live. Actually, Paul's probably coming home from work. He squeezed this in. I shouldn't rag on him for not being here exactly on time. I knew it was going to be tight. How crazy this whole podcast thing is just evolving. As you guys know, I used to be pretty heavily into arm wrestling. I made this movie called Pulling John about John Brzenk. I developed a bunch of arm wrestlers, including Travis Bajent and John, two people who are super passionate about the sport, involved in it in every level. I mean, definitely Travis is involved in it in every level. And John's been, I wonder if John's ever put on a tournament. Should ask him that. But definitely there's I don't know, maybe there is somewhere. I don't know of a competitor of John Brzenk's status in any sport. Like I haven't in my lifetime, there hasn't been one in basketball, football, I don't know, hockey, like I mean, you see these greats come and go, the Jordans, the Wayne Gretzky's, the LeBrons, the Tom Brady's, I guess maybe that guy, the guy who won, like, switched teams and still won a Super Bowl. But this guy, John Brzenk, it's nuts. It is really, 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 really nuts. And he has the perfect demeanor, character to be that guy. It all makes sense. When you sit down and talk to him, it all makes sense. When the first time you meet him, if you would have met him 30 years ago and someone said this is the greatest arm wrestler who ever lived, you'd be like, wow, what a strange demeanor. But now that he's been in it for 37 years, it all makes sense. It's a slow burn of power. There's nothing chaotic. There was actually a time, I think when I was making the movie Pulling John Brzenk had just started getting into poker. And as I believe he was a tremendous poker player too. He could basically go into a casino and win. And it's just because he's just a rock. He's just solid. He's like, there's no tells. He's like an alligator. He kind of looks like an alligator. Anyway, so why is Linn on the show? So I got a chance to talk to kind of rekindle my friendship with John via the podcast a couple of weeks ago. And the reason why is I was tripping because John just popped up on YouTube and was just exploding. And he's such a mellow dude. He probably had no idea he was going to get that attention. And then he told me, he said, hey, I'm back into arm wrestling. I kind of like took a break in 2015 after beating the great Devin Lorette. And now all of a sudden he said, I'm kind of feeling a little frisky at 57 years old and I'm getting back in the game. And I'm like, wow. And he told me he was arm wrestling this guy, Linn. And so I just went onto Instagram and I'm like, let me see what's going through this guy's head who's about to arm wrestle the greatest arm wrestler of all time and maybe one of the greatest sportsmen to a sport of all time. Now, don't get me wrong. Other sports have a lot of shit going on. I mean, basketball is just nuts, right? All the different movement, the ball, the shooting, the defense, the offense. It's definitely a far different sport than arm wrestling. But at this level, the nuances of arm wrestling are pretty wild. And what I recommend if you want to get into arm wrestling, if you want to get excited about this match, if you just want, like, hey, I'm curious about this guy, John Brzenk, you just go on YouTube and just start Googling around. And then do the same with Paul, and you can build kind of your own hype reel. That's what I did. Last couple of days, I started watching a bunch of Linn's matches. I want to believe that he can win. so that when I watch the match this weekend of John versus Paul, I'll think that Paul Linn has a chance. I mean, the thing with John, I guess, is just the huge unknown because he's just coming back. He's just coming back, and there he is. You did. You did it. Paul, you gotta log out and log back in. Something's wrong. Try one more time. Close that window or something. Come back. Ouch. Did anyone else hear that? Was that really bad? Was that bad? What was the other 3-hour podcast besides Pedig? I did 3 hours today with Mark Bell. Is that what you mean? That was nuts. Oh. No bueno. Can you hear me okay?
You did.
It's almost like water got poured into your microphone.
Is that better now?
Yeah, it's that mic. Can you unplug that mic and use the mic on the computer?
Yeah, that. How about that? Is that better?
It's so bad.
It's so bad.
That makes sense. Hey, do you have a phone? I've never done it with someone on an Android. We could test that out.
I do have a phone. You tried to spend that time.
Wow, that is crazy. Should I mute his ass?
Is that better
It's so bad, brother. Oh, yeah. Can you try your phone? I'm gonna disconnect you here. Can I just remove him? Edit my kick from studio. Kick guest. Bye. Whew, that was wild. What's the deal? Why am I going to ask him about crypto? Is it as long as it's nice? I don't want to set this guy up for anything bad. Does he know a lot about crypto? He looks like he builds crypto farms. No, you said there were 2 that went 3 hours. Oh. Those weren't those 3-hour shows I'm referencing. Sorry, I should be way more clear. Were not not on my show, but when I was a guest on someone else's show. I've gone on to other people's shows where they kept me on for 3 hours. And after that, I felt dirty. I was just like, it was too much. You don't want to be on here when you feel like you're not contributing. You don't want to be wasting anyone's time. At least I don't. I don't think anyone does. It's fucking, it's gross. And so I felt like when you go past the 90-minute mark, you could be kind of getting there, right? Oh, that's awesome, Paul.
Are we better?
Man, dude, you sound like an angel. That's okay.
I apologize.
Dude, that podcast you guys did, you and Gary and Travis did, and you guys took all the air out of the room. I think we're done. No one needs to even watch this.
Nobody watches that stuff. No one watches that.
Oh my God. I cannot believe how many viewers it has already and how shitty the quality is. But you get 4 dudes who are just so fired up about arm wrestling and people will watch anything.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
So I've been out of the scene for a long time.
Okay.
And I was obviously good. I obviously am friends with Travis and John. I've worked with them a lot. And then I just saw John pop up on YouTube. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy's taking over?
Yeah, he's got 1 million views already in like 3 weeks.
This guy is
half of his videos, he's just kind of fumbling through how to do and talking his way through stuff. It's great. And they get like 20,000 views.
And Devin is like an international rock star now.
He is. I mean, he's up to like, what has he got? Like 400,000 subscribers, and he's the same deal. Everything's on his iPhone, and he just talks into it and says whatever, and it's unbelievable.
They are 2, yeah, and they're 2 guys with integrity and authenticity. There's no Conor McGregor shtick.
Right.
We
leave that to Travis.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't mean to make a dig at Conor McGregor, because I don't think Conor McGregor and the Diaz brothers, I don't think it's a shtick. I think they're just comfortable with who they are, and I think the same with Travis.
I agree.
Like I've been with Travis at the dinner table at his family's house many a time in the past, and that's how he talks to his kids.
Right.
You want to get smacked up? You want to get smacked up, motherfucker? Say thank you to your mom. Kid's like, thank you, mom. How crazy do you follow Travis's son? Do you see how successful his son is at football?
Yeah. I played in the same conference that he plays in now, and they're killing it. They're lighting my alma mater up. So yeah, Tyson is a special dude. And when Travis made the decision, I don't want to say Travis made the decision, Tyson made the decision, but they made the decision together to keep him D2. I mean, he was definitely a Division I kid, and his numbers are reflecting the fact that he is a Division I kid playing D2.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I knew them when I knew Travis when Tyson was born or when he was a baby. And I would see him a couple times every year. And the last time I saw him, he was probably, I don't know. I went to watch him play a basketball game when he was 10, maybe.
Yep.
And for all the dads out there who want their kids to be good at sports, Travis spends a shitload of time with his kids, or he did, and he put in the effort. And it's crazy that it's happening.
It's the roadmap. I mean, let's be serious. Travis is a special athlete as well. Beyond arm wrestling, he was an athlete prior. So his kids have good genetic ability. But then, Travis got, he's got his own CrossFit gym. He trains them himself. He's so hands-on. When your dad is that passionate, how are you average? You're not. You can't be.
And his wife is kind of a genetic freak too.
Right. Right.
And Travis has a huge ass. And and as we all know, I mean, that's the engine room, right? I mean, you got a big ass, and there's no stopping you if you want to use it.
Yep. Tyson is a special dude, man. He got a little bit more height too. I mean, he's up for the Harlan Hill again, which is the D2 Heisman Trophy. So, I mean, he's that good.
Did he was up for it last year?
I believe so. I believe he was on the ballot last year.
And is he what is he? Is he a junior, senior?
He's a senior. I think he's a senior. He's a senior, I believe.
So this is his big year. If he's not a
senior, he's at least a 3-year starter. I think he's been starting for 4 years. I think he's a senior.
I remember the last time I saw his stats too, it was something crazy. Like he had never lost a football game in college or some shit. I mean, it was really crazy.
His numbers, and Travis posts them every week. Like a bad day for Tyson is like 350 yards and 1 pick. You know what I mean? Like that's a bad day. His numbers are just absurd, and they are lighting it up. Like Shepard has been a scoring machine since he's been there. It's unbelievable.
How old are you, Paul?
I'm 40.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
You know spring chicken.
I'm old.
I'm wondering how you knew all that. Okay.
Yeah, I got in late. I got into the game late.
And how tall are you?
Just under 6 foot. Just
okay. Just and from listening to that podcast with Travis and John, you've only been doing this 5 years?
Yeah, I got in when I was 35.
Yeah, for people who don't know, that is a baby in the sport of arm wrestling.
Yeah.
The development just takes fucking forever.
It does. It really does. And I rushed as much as I could. Like I immediately became obsessed, and I treated it the same way as I treated my football career, and I trained for it the same way as an athlete would. I did it like basically from day one. Only problem with that is when you don't have that conditioning, that overtraining kind of like it took a toll on me, and I wound up having some injuries and tendon issues and tears and things of that nature. But I think because I took that approach early and didn't have anything catastrophic happen, I was able to kind of make some gains faster than some folks do.
Did you do anything in your career? Like occasionally you'll see these freaks like come out of like, you see a freak show on the arm wrestling scene. You're like, what the fuck? They're like only 6 months. And you find out that they milk cows for a living. You know what I mean?
Like that.
Or they were like a pipe fitter, or they turn rebar by hand from when they were a baby.
Yeah.
You don't have anything like that.
No,
or they pulled fishing nets in Africa. You're like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
You know what though? And that's a lot of times when you see these guys come in with these big grizzly, like strong hands, it's because they come from a trade or they did something weird or they're farm raised. No, I was raised in the city, and my primary source of income, I sit behind a computer. So wow. I don't do any of that, but I do. I mean, I did play football at a fairly high level. I played at the next level after college. And then I went on to coach football, and I run a strength program. So I pretty much live in the gym. whether it's because I want to, or if it's against my will or not, I'm in there for 3 hours a day. So it's become part of who I am. I haven't taken more than a week off. I mean, this is my week off, and it's killing me. I don't take time off. So that's just it. Ever since I stopped playing football, I just seamlessly transitioned into coaching and strength coaching. So I've never laid off.
You said you played the next level of football after college. What is that?
I played overseas. I mean, I didn't know NFL. So NFL Italy. I played over there. Didn't chase it too hard. Finished my master's program. Did that during that time, and then transitioned into coaching.
And where were you born?
Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, right where I live now.
Oh, no. Okay, cool.
Yep.
And you're married?
I am.
And kids?
I have one boy, 6-year-old.
Oh, I have a 6-year-old too. Isn't that great? Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Everything that's going on right now. We got kindergarten. I held him back for a year. So we're going through this crazy transition. Him like being out of the house and not having me with him at all times. It's awesome to see, but man, I hate to let him go,
Dude, I went to my kid's first jiu-jitsu tournament a couple months ago. And there was another parent there with me. And basically there's a point where like you have to let go of their hand and they walk parallel to you to the match. And I'm like holding on to him, and my buddy's like, he's like, hey, you got to let go of your kid. I'm like, what do you mean? No, I don't. I'm like, I just hold his hand as we walk. He'll be on one side of the rope. I'll be on the other. He's like, dude, let him go. Yeah. I'm like, dude, I still get him dressed in the morning. He's like, yeah, you need to stop that shit too.
No, I'm right with you. My son does it. My son's starting into novice wrestling and jiu-jitsu as well. And it's like, I love watching him do it, but it's so hard not to be involved. It's so hard to like not be on his ass at all times, Dude,
I seriously, I didn't play any sports growing up. And so the first time I saw him do jiu-jitsu in that tournament too, like 5 minutes after that, I seriously thought I was going to shit my pants. Like I was having like those belly flops, like diarrhea belly flops. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I'm not even doing nothing.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I think I honestly, like, this is my first kid and everything. I've coached forever, but they're not my kids, So I feel I can sense that my anxiety is going to be higher for him competing than it is for mine. I'm so used to competing that it's not a big deal, but watching him do anything, my asshole puckers up.
I had to, the first, he also plays tennis. And the tennis instructors had to come over to me a handful of times and be like, hey, dude, it would just all kindness and all respect, shut the fuck up. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. And I'm not even saying much. Like, hey, you want a water? Want me to come out there and take your sweater off? You okay? You know what I mean?
That's great.
I'm not even like doing crazy shit. Like, get that bitch. Nothing like that. Yeah. But just like, you want to go home now? Middle of the match. Want to go get a sandwich? So you're in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. You're 40 years old. You're kind of a home. Did you marry your high school sweetheart?
No. She actually went to the same high school. I'm 5 years older than her. We met in college. She was a freshman when I was doing my grad work.
Was she one of your students?
No. I was getting my grad work.
She's on the. It happens. I got a friend who was an instructor over at Bud's, and he was the strength and conditioning coach at UC Riverside, and he's a pretty famous CrossFitter, Josh Everett, and I'm pretty sure he was a strength and conditioning coach, and he ended up marrying one of the like girls on the volleyball team or some shit. You hear it all
the time.
So you get married, you have a kid, and what is your day job? You said you sit in front of a computer.
Yeah, I'm a project manager. I have a bunch of other endeavors too. I got a couple of LLCs. I'm involved in a cryptocurrency company, bunch of stuff. But my primary job is a program manager.
So you're also a hustler.
I'm busy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm busy. Real estate, rental properties, things of that nature. Yeah,
right.
I keep it busy.
Right. You're not going. You don't come home and watch at 6 o'clock. Turn on Netflix and open a bottle of wine.
Do not. I'll rest when I'm dead. Rest when I'm dead. Yeah. Sleep is for when you're dead.
Yeah. Does your wife like that about you?
No.
Oh. She will. When you're 70, she will.
Right. That's the idea. Once it calms down, it all pays off and we can reap the rewards and everything. But no, she's supportive. But I mean, I'm a pain in the ass. So, I mean, I can own that.
If you're not a hustler, if you're not like selling fucking stuffed animals on eBay and just doing and fucking with cryptocurrency and just doing everything you can, you will not make it in this world moving forward. Things are moving too fast. You better have your hands like in 6 different cookie jars.
Right. And it's, just using the cryptocurrency stuff as an example, like if you like, the world's not there yet, people are just starting to get it, but if you're not ahead of that curve, I mean, goodness, man, I don't trust my retirement. I don't trust my 401k at all. I got to get my hand in other pots and other cookie jars for sure. Because that's the wave of the future. Things are changing at light speed, and it's impossible to keep up with. Do my best.
That opens up a million questions for me, but we got to talk a little bit about arm wrestling.
Right.
But I'd love to circle back to that. The example I would use also is I used to, and I was telling Mark. Do you know who Mark Bell is? I had him on this morning.
I did not see it, but I've heard the name.
He invented the slingshot. He was in his brother did Bigger, Faster, Stronger, the movie in 2008. Chris Bell.
Yeah, Bigger, Faster, Stronger. His brother did that documentary.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So, and Mark's one of the characters in it.
Okay.
Like Chris Bell's like trying to figure out, should I do steroids? And Mark Bell's his brother who did do steroids.
Yes. Okay.
Awesome movie. Awesome.
I watched it. I watched it quite some time ago, but that was one of the most eye-opening to date. Was one of the most eye-opening things that was out mainstream about that topic. He's very objective.
Yeah, he's better than I think he's better than Michael Moore as a documentary filmmaker. Chris Bell.
Right.
I went back and watched it 2 days ago. I'm like, wow, this is some fucking great shit.
It really is.
And really both sides,
right? Really balanced,
good shit.
Right. Yeah, it was 100% objective. And I mean, where do you ever see that? Almost always there is some form of an agenda, you know, with every topic that's presented. I thought it was very objective. And
his agenda, he didn't hide it from you. Should I do steroids or shouldn't?
Right.
Anyway, one of the things I was joking around in there is one of the things I used to do to make money is I would go around and film marijuana grow rooms in California, and then I would put them together on a DVD, and then I would sell the DVD on eBay for like $20. And that some days I'd sell like 3 and I'd have like $60. I'm like, damn, I'm balling. You know what I mean? And I would just print them out on my little DVD player on my computer, and I would make the movie Pulling John with that money that
that's how you funded it.
I mean, I a bunch of things, but I had a bunch of hustles, right? A ton of hustles. Anyway, so then all of a sudden DVDs are gone.
Right.
And I knew guys who were making $2 million a year selling DVDs, and then they're gone.
Man, I worked in a warehouse. I worked in a warehouse when I was right out of college, and my good buddy worked there too. And that's what he did. He big warehouse, about 1,000 employees, and he hustled, burnt DVDs that came out early, bootleg or whatever, and he hustled these things and made more than his day job just selling to the people at the place. And then, like you said, like that, nobody wants them anymore.
Gone. Yeah. And in my mom's garage, I had 5,000 DVDs I never sold.
My old
DVD collection. Seymour Bud's How to Grow Weed, and I'm just like, Jesus, what am I going to do with these? They're frisbees. So you're working this. So you're a dad with 1 6-year-old. You're working a day job. You got a bunch of other interests. You're an entrepreneur. How does and you're a strength coach? How does arm wrestling enter your consciousness?
I mean, at that point, I was just kind of looking for something. Like I'm
really,
I was looking
at 35
because there's no competition, right? So I'm coaching, so I get a little bit from coaching. Like, all right, we won this game. You get to watch somebody have success. You get to live vicariously, but it wasn't enough, And here I am in a gym. I just turned 35 years old. I'm beating myself up. I'm still power cleaning and squatting. I'm hurting myself and stuff. And I'm like, I just want to compete in something. So I'm playing racquetball and these different things. And one of my buddies, one of my guys I coach with said, why don't you arm wrestle? You beat people in arm wrestle all the time. Every time you go to a bar, you're beating somebody in arm wrestle. I said, well, I mean, is it a real thing? And we talked about it. And that was right around the time Game of Arms was going on. And I watched Game of Arms. And
that was the show on AMC. The reality show on, TMC.
Travis was on it. They were all on it. And I watched it. I remember it was right around the same time I found the show, and it was like getting great ratings. The first episode did great. I watched it. I was obsessed. I watched every episode. My wife wanted to kill me. And the whole time through it, I was like, there's no way that I can't beat some of these guys.
Did your IQ drop 10 points from watching that?
I don't know. I haven't got it tested.
Okay, go on.
No. So anyway, I mean, and it was right around that same time where I was like, okay, arm wrestling is a thing. And I just looked up a tournament and went and showed up.
And what was the first tournament?
It was a little fundraiser tournament in Pittston, PA, run by a guy named Tom Nitro Simcoe, old school arm wrestler, just like a charity benefit thing.
And this would be 2016?
Yeah, or the end of 15. I can't remember. But yeah, it was the beginning of 16, I believe.
And how much did you know? Did you know the difference between a top roll and a hook?
Yes.
Did you know about back pressure? You did know about some of those, the fundamentals?
Yep. Mm-hmm. I watched Pulling John before I ever competed. Like I started getting obsessed before I competed. Game of Arms started being like, okay. And you learn some stuff in Game of Arms. Well, I looked at some Devin Larratt videos before I went. I wasn't like totally clueless on it, but I couldn't execute anything, and nor did I train for it. So it wasn't until after the first one that I got like some training tools and trained a little bit. And it wasn't until the second one till I actually went to a practice.
Okay, so maybe you got some Captains of Crush.
Yeah.
You had a piece of rope with a string on it. Like, okay, exactly. Devin and Michael Todd do it. Can't be that bad.
Right.
Must be doing something right.
I'm squeezing grippers, you know.
Yeah. You tied the rubber band to while you're driving to the door.
Yeah.
Did you do that shit too?
No, I mean, early on I did. When I was super obsessed, I tried to do everything possible.
God, those guys are crazy.
As you learn, you start realizing what you do and don't need, and what takes priority. But early on, I bought every single tool. My gym, like I have a little spot in the gym where I work out with the kids and everything that just has like hundreds of tools that I bought because I was so obsessed. And I don't use half of them.
Right. I know. That's my gym too. Not for arm wrestling though, kid shit.
Right.
And so did you win all your matches at your first tournament?
I won the amateur. It was like an amateur 199 plus. So it was with the big guys. I won both arms in that. And then I went in the pro class and I took third in the super heavyweights. And so it was another 199 plus class. So everybody was bigger than me. I beat a national champion that day, but I didn't feel good about myself because I lost. I wasn't expecting to lose. I was this guy thinking like this arm wrestling is not that hard, you know? And I got a rude awakening because I lost. I fully expected to go there and win and beat everyone. You know, so I had to like rethink, you know, all right, well, this is a real thing and these guys really know what they're doing and I might have a gap I need to close before I get good. So
did he open your hand up?
Did I get my hand opened?
From the guy who beat you that day? What happened? How did he beat you?
Inside.
Wow.
Boom. Inside. Like fast, bam. Bill Runkle, good puller. He's a top 10 guy in North America. I don't know that. You know what I mean? I just show up and whatever. But yeah, and I tweaked something in my shoulder because I hit just like I would normally go, you know, real hard. And I actually injured my labrum in my first ever tournament. And so now I can't bench right. And I'm going back home and I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't bench after my first tournament. So I had to like adjust how I train completely. So I took about 2 months off and pondered, do I want to keep doing this? But I kept doing my little training and everything. And then I showed up at the PA Winter Blast, which is run by Sue Fisher out on the East Coast. This was a much bigger tournament. And I won that one in a big amateur class with 20 some people in it. And there's where I made all my contacts. I met Storm.
Sorry, Paul, what weight there?
I pulled the 198 class there.
Okay. And so, sorry to go back a second. So when you pulled this at this first tournament you went to, how much did you weigh? How much do you weigh right now?
Right now for the John match, I'm 225.
And are you uncomfortable?
Yes.
Yeah.
When I found out about the match, I was hovering between 210 and 215, which is my resting weight. It's where my body wants to be. That's homeostasis for me. When Travis said, hey, do you want to pull John? I'm like, sure, you know, absolutely. And then the weight came up and I knew John was trying to get down for top 8. I was like, cool, we can do 220. Isn't he going to 209? And Travis was like, no. He's bigger than that. And I was like, well, can we do 225 at least? Because I don't think I can get bigger than 225. So we settled on 225, and I think John has a little bit to lose, and I'll probably walk in at that.
That's crazy how big he is. Hey, what's the heaviest you've ever weighed?
I weighed 230, like mid 230s in college, but that was like my job was to get as big as possible, and I sat in the cafeteria and I ate my face off for 3 meals a day until I was uncomfortably sick. You know.
And what position did you play?
Middle linebacker. And at that point, it was still run heavy offenses, and I needed to be big.
And you smash dudes.
Yeah, it was filling on ISOs, fullbacks, you know, straight smash mouth stuff back then. So it isn't what it is now. Now, you know, you can have 210, 215 pound linebackers that run, you know. Back then it was downhill, Johnny A gap.
And did you like that?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I don't know how the old post-concussion syndrome is treating me nowadays, but the memory's not as good as it used to be, but I loved it in the moment.
Oh, wait another 10 years. I'm 49. Oh man, getting old is fun.
I know.
So then you go to your second tournament. And do you know at this point, just so you guys know, so it's this weekend. The match with John is this weekend, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we still have no idea how we're gonna watch it, right?
It's John's got to put it on his channel. It's going to be live streamed from John's channel. I'm probably going to live stream it from mine. Like, there was supposed to be a pay-per-view. It fell through. That's really hard to organize on short notice, you know? So when Travis said he's going to do that, I was like, okay, fingers crossed. Hopefully it works, you know, but it'll be YouTube live streamed. There's probably gonna be a couple channels that have it.
Paul, is your Instagram PAULLINN? Okay.
Yeah.
I just changed.
Paul.Linn 717. Paul Linn.
Oh shit. Okay. Okay. Paul, that's your Instagram? Paul Linn. Say it again.
I think it's, well, I guess I gotta look at it.
Double check, because I'm gonna put it on the screen here.
Okay. Let me get on there real quick.
This guy doesn't know his own Instagram account.
I don't know.
How is he going to be John Berzink?
I don't know. Or
is that why he's going to be John Berzink? Because
does John even have an Instagram?
He does. He does. I bet you I can find your Instagram faster than you.
You probably can.
Okay, Paul.Linn. God, yeah. I cannot stand you guys who have numbers in your Instagram, and but people tell me that's like the sporting. That's the way.
717. Paul.Linn.717. That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
Just want to throw up when I see that. Just type in Paul Linn. So Paul, you have a YouTube channel also?
I do.
And what is your YouTube channel?
Lethal Arms Network.
Lethal Arms Network. And those of you who want to watch this, so you need to subscribe to Lethal Arms Network, and you need to subscribe to John Berzink.
Yeah,
and
John Berzink.
I know what else is going to happen. I know Devin Lorette is going to then film the live stream and put it to his channel and give his feedback. So feedback.
He will.
You guys are going to want to watch this for a couple reasons. It is the greatest arm wrestler of all time. Who knows how many matches he had left in him, and it's going to be fun. This shit is intense, even if you don't know about arm wrestling. Do you know if you're? I mean, obviously you know now. When did you find out if you were a top roller or a hooker? Like, what is your preferred style?
I don't even know, you know, and that's where it's weird. Like, I started out because
so 5 years in, you still don't know.
Well, I mean, I'm fast twitch, so like if I want to be twitchy on the go, like that lends itself to make you want to top roll. But for my weight, at my weight class, I am probably a better inside puller. It took me.
Meaning you're super strong for your weight and you're better inside?
My arm is stronger, more like comparatively speaking, in the 198 class, you will find less arms that are stronger than mine and more hands that are stronger than mine.
Okay.
But I don't necessarily have full comfort in, like, I don't lean one way or another where I'm one dimensional. I can do most everything.
You're not insecure in the top roll?
No. Nope. I can comfortably go where my opponent wants to go.
Can you show people with your hand like in the center of your chest, just to give them an idea of what the difference between a top roll and a hook?
If I'm just top rolling, the best way to think about it is if I'm top rolling, I am retreating my elbow. I'm retreating my shoulder and my elbow. Outside pulling means your shoulder goes outside. You pull back, you pronate, and you cup your wrist as if you're pouring a beer can into your shirt pocket. That is the essence of a top roll. A hook is shoulder commitment, inside pulling, shoulder comes forward, hand supinates, wrist flex really hard. Now you're on the arm. Now you're way on the arm, and the hand is less of a component. Obviously, the hand's still a component for clamping and rotation, but you're more on the arm, the elbow, and the shoulder, and the large muscle groups.
Thank you. Who is your biggest win to date?
Probably biggest. I mean, I guess I won the Arnolds. I beat Dan Mosier, who was at the time the #1 guy, 198 in North America. So I guess I would have to say that's my biggest. I've had some good wins on guys outside of my weight class, top 10 super heavyweights and things like that. But I'm currently, by the one ranking system, has me at the #1 at 198. The other one has me in the top 5, I believe, but those ranking systems are very, very subjective. So I think that I'm right around there for that weight class.
There was a guy. There were 2 guys, and I think they're still pulling. Rob Vigent and Todd Hutchings. Are they in the 198 class still? Or are they
Not
up?
anymore. I mean,
No.
Rob is the current WAL hammer holder. WAL has not been active for a couple of years now. And
that's World Arm Wrestling League.
Yes, the World Arm Wrestling League. So I signed a contract with them right before they went under. I had one match. I had another match scheduled, and then COVID happened. I was, according to them, I was the number 1 contender to get a shot at Rob. So
what would that have been at what weight?
That would have been 205. They usually do a 205 or a 210 catch weight. Both Rob and I can make 205 comfortably. So that would have been where it was at. That's the standard weight. They have fluctuations in there depending on who they put, but they kind of forced Todd Hutchings up. They said, Todd, it's time for you to go wrestle the big boys. And that kind of put Todd into like a bigger walk around weight now. I think if somebody told Todd there's 20 grand on the line, he'll be 198 though.
Yeah. He was, I haven't seen or talked to him in years. When I was involved, I think he was sort of just coming on the scene. He maybe came on the scene the same time I did. I started filming, and man, he was passionate. It's kind of incredible how long some of these guys stay around.
Yep. And Todd's one of my inspirations. He started at 35. I started at 35. And I kind of I try to follow his trajectory as much as possible. I really like his style. I really like him. I really like working with him. He's an unbelievable dude, and he just shows how you can be timeless in the sport. That guy right now.
He's smart as shit too.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, we're just talking about sheer like side pressure strength, like hook power. That guy, I would venture to say, and the Eastern Europeans can get mad at me. I don't think anyone in his weight, at his weight class, can beat him inside in a slow rolling hook. If you were to start that match in a hook with no super initiation, there is not a man in that weight that could touch that man. He's lost the guys his weight, Rustam Babayev, but that was all off of explosion on the go. And even his last match that he lost to Zoloev, Zoloev top rolled him 5 times. They didn't want anything to do with the hook, and Zolev's a hooker.
God, Hutchings must have some fucking baseball-sized hemorrhoids.
He just had a match. He had a match last week. He pulled a 400-pound super heavyweight.
Wow.
Inside puller, it went 3-2. He beat him. It was an unbelievable match.
Where you can just Google and watch that?
Yes, that's definitely up. That's definitely up somewhere. And Todd, if you don't know, Todd has a YouTube also. He has not gained any traction. It blows my mind. You can look up Toddzilla on YouTube.
Yep. Crazy. So tell me how the match comes about with you and John.
So Gary got back into the sport, right? You know Gary, obviously.
Yep.
And he came back YouTube hot and heavy. He was killing it. And me and my buddy James Reed, we host tournaments. But that's what when I started getting bit by the bug, I wanted to be involved in everything. So I just wanted to throw my own tournaments. So I met James Reed. He's great with the brackets and organization. He's with CNY in northern New York, and we've kind of.
Do I know him? Has he been around a long time?
His wife is Michelle Dugan, who is another WAL puller, very high level woman. But I don't think he's been around longer than 6-7 years.
REID?
What's that?
James Reed, REID?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm looking him up on Google Images. Is he Asian?
No, he's like
right.
He's like a ginger. Not really.
Is he he's a redhead?
Kind of. Look up Michelle Dugan, and he'll probably pop up in a picture in the background.
Look up.
He'll like that.
Okay. I'll take your word on it. So you and James Reed are like, hey, we're going to throw some tournaments.
Yeah, so we're throwing tournaments and everything, but we've been doing it for a couple of years now. Picking up Northeast is great for tournaments, everything else. So we had a New York tournament in kind of the middle of COVID, and we did like an underground series. And I had been talking to Gary, and Gary said, hey, I want to sponsor the ROTN. He wanted to do the ROTN, Ruler of the Nation, the overall. He structured it where basically the top 2 guys from each weight class that win the class, they go in a round robin. Basically, you go until you lose, and then that person is up. And you need to get 16 wins or whatever.
Wow.
So we said, sure. I mean, Gary threw like $800 and said, hey, we're going to pay first, second, third, and fourth. I said, absolutely, we'll do that. So that kind of coaxed me into pulling my own tournament. So I won the 220s, and then I got in the ROTN, and I think I won, I don't know, like 20 straight matches and won that one. And And then we talked about doing it again. And then when John and the John and Chance Shaw match happened, Gary sponsored the ROTN again there. And I went to that one, and I didn't realize there was money on the ROTN. I went to that tournament just to ref for Travis, and I'm reffing, and I find out that there's money on the ROTN. So I basically threw myself in the 242 class because it was light, won that, and then I won the ROTN right arm again there. So after John beat Chance, Travis had the idea that, hey, we're gonna keep this going if John's willing to keep pulling, and we'll just put John against the ROTN winner, and we'll just say it's the ROTN championship. And he called me up and said, hey, how do you feel about doing this? You know, and he thinking I'm going to say no. He's like, listen, you might not want to do it. I understand. And I was like, no, man, I definitely want to do it. Pump the brakes. Let's do it. You know, I'm not going to say no way, regardless of the outcome. If you get that opportunity, somebody says, hey, I need you to go one round with Mike Tyson. Some people might say no, but I'm going one round. I'm going to try and make it.
Right. And so you did it. So you've pulled John.
No, not yet. I'm pulling John this weekend.
Okay.
I'm pulling John this weekend.
Okay. I thought at that event, then you ended up pulling him.
John won. The winner of the ROTN at the tournament would then pull John at the next one. So that stands now. So the winner of John and I, the winner of the ROTN that night, stands to get the shot next
to
time.
pull if you and John want.
Yes.
Wow. What a fun sport.
I wasn't even planning on pulling that day either. That's the beauty of it. Like, I was there to ref, and I was like, and it just worked out, you know.
John, Travis, in that phone call you had yesterday with Travis and Gary and John, he compared you to. It wasn't a compliment. It's sort of a compliment. What's the guy's name? Fucking great arm wrestler, whose mom used to go to all the tournaments with him. Dave
Patton.
Mm-hmm. He compared you to Dave Patton in the setup, and obviously Dave Patton was notorious for just. I mean, the setups, the videos of him setting up are just crazy, right?
Yeah, I don't do that, so I don't know what the heck. I arm wrestle with a very similar style to Travis and Dave. Travis's style comes from Dave. Don't let him think it doesn't. I mean, that's who he trained with.
Yeah,
styles are similar. I am not. First off, I'm not savvy enough to do everything that Dave did in the setup. I can't negotiate anything but a set grip anyway. That's why I thought the whole thing was funny when Travis was saying it. I'm like, I might pull like Dave, but I don't know all the trickery and everything. And I don't fight at all. I want to go straight to the setup and just the rest grip and just have it set up.
You do?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't like to play around with all that hand stuff. And I haven't been around long enough to know how to be good at it. I'm 5 years in. The guys who are good at that are the guys who've been arm wrestling forever with the old AAA setup where you got 60 seconds to get your own grip. I don't know how to get a good grip on somebody. I need the rest grip so we set up even.
Yeah.
I'll try and finagle a little bit in that, but subtly. I pull. If I'm top rolling, I use a similar style to Dave Patton as far as a posting elbow in style.
Okay.
But I'm not nearly anything. I mean, it's kind of a compliment to get compared to Dave.
Yeah, right. At first, I was like, it's an insult, and I was like,
I ain't that good.
Do you train? How did you meet Travis? The way you're referring to him is that you guys maybe trained together, or you guys have a history?
Yeah, I mean, Travis is an hour and a half from me. I mean, I'm in Pennsylvania, but Travis is right down the road. I mean, and couple of my first tournament that I hosted, second tournament that I hosted was a fundraiser, and Travis kind of asked me to do it, you know, and I had met him prior, and you know, he's close enough. I've done seminars with him, gone to his seminars, you know, been out around with him and everything. So we're close enough that I've gone down there and trained with him a bunch of times. He's come to Morocco's, so we got a good relationship.
Dave Morocco?
Mm-hmm.
That guy's still in this scene too.
Yeah,
huh?
That's like my primary. That's where I've been prepping for John. He's 2 hours from me. He has a Thursday practice that's really good with a bunch of guys that are really good. And Dave is my guy. Like Dave is, that's like my mentor, you know. So
do they believe you have a chance?
Yes. Yep. I mean, call Dave and ask him. He thinks, yeah. So I mean, he's the gauge. I went radio silent. I usually do a podcast with Neil Pickup and a couple different things. And I'm usually all over social media promoting stuff and having practices and doing stuff. The minute I found out I was having this match, I went on a 10-week camp. I shut my mouth and I went to work. So the only people that know where I'm at is those guys in Maryland.
Right. What do you do with Neil Pickup? God, I can't believe if you talk to Neil, tell him I said hi. What a
I
great
will.
guy.
I
Yeah,
will.
what a great
He's
guy.
unbelievable. He's
You do.
yeah, I
Go
do.
ahead.
I usually do a weekly podcast on Neil's channel. Neil's channel is called Supernatural Strength, and we do a podcast weekly called The Fix with Raymond's Lipinge from Latvia, Ryan Bowen from Australia, and myself. So it's picked up
And
some good
critique
steam.
people? Like, what do you guys do? Like, you'll play a match
It,
and you guys will pause it and talk shit or be like, hey,
well,
should have done this. Or
it's like a weekly recap. It's like, what happened in the arm wrestling world. What is trending? What's coming up? What do we need to promote? Like, there's a lot of hype going on constantly in this sport now, and it's really hard to stay on top of all of it, especially internationally. So having Ryan from Australia and Raymond's from Europe, we can talk about everything. So it's really just about an hour, 2-hour thing where we just talk trash about whatever's happening.
dude, you guys, this is crazy. They're really, I mean, as far as I know, there's really Neil Pickup is Mr. Arm Wrestling.
Yep.
And for Paul to already be in bed with him is nuts. I mean, it gives you a fucking a ton of street cred. He must think the world of you to have you. I mean, he's everything. He's a historian. He's a coach. He's an athlete. Yeah, he is.
He is arm wrestling.
Yeah, he is remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
Is he still pooling? He must be like.
He is not. He is not competitively pulling. I think he'll go to practice here and there. He'll train people and stuff. He still loves arm wrestling. Like, he's the most passionate dude ever, aside from maybe Eng and Terzi. But
right.
he's unbelievable. And he just hosted Arm Wars again, if you didn't know that.
I didn't.
At Arm Wars, I mean, obviously there was trouble, like certain people, if you're not vaccinated, and there was.
Yeah, it's like we have an arm wrestling tournament in a prison. England's a prison.
Yeah, he did. No, his Arm Wars turned out really, really good. He had all kinds of countries there represented. It was unbelievable.
I think I went once and filmed. Many years ago.
Those were like the first legit looking things that I could find on YouTube.
Do you have a plan of attack for the first match?
I mean, I guess I got to go with what I know, right?
Yeah. So there is a game plan.
Yes.
And when you talk to John, it's weird. He's an incredible poker player. Mm-hmm. He's incredibly sincere.
Mm-hmm.
I was before you came on, I was explaining that like he has the perfect demeanor for someone to be the greatest athlete of for any ambassador for any sport. Absolutely. I mean, he's been in it 37 years. There's nothing flash in the pan about him.
Yep.
And anyone who's ever asked him to get more aggressive or anything, like, I mean, he doesn't need to. He has his own unique charisma of an aura. But when I'm watching, but I'm not naive to maybe the head games he was playing with you.
For sure.
Like maybe him just being himself is the head game. Mm-hmm. Like the guy is he's a competitor.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And he said in the podcast that you did yesterday with Gary Roberts and Travis Bajan, it's on ARM TV if anyone wants to see it. If you want to know how good the quality is on this podcast, you can watch that one. Sorry, Gary, couldn't help it. Yeah, he says he does no gauge for you. Is he just fucking with you?
Yeah. I know better than that.
Yeah, when he said that, I'm like, oh God, I don't know if I'm buying that.
There's a lot of info out there, and John's in tune. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly what I do. He knows exactly what I'm good at. I mean, I think when he says he doesn't have a gauge, the people who he trains with, I've never pulled. Like, there's no real common denominator, but there's plenty of footage out there. And John and I have gotten to meet before, and we did get to pull a little bit left arm, but we've never touched right hands at all. So, I mean, I think he might be referring to that. And I think John's like one of those dudes where he's so smart and he's so natural that, like, the minute you grab him and grip up with him, he's downloading data from your hand. And whatever you do that first time, he is not going to react the same way. So I think in his mind, he's a guy where if he grabs somebody's hand and feels them one time, he's going to be fine. So I think in his mind, he's saying, I don't have the data yet until I grab him. But he knows what I do.
Yeah.
He knows where I'm good and not.
He's so analytical.
Mm-hmm.
And so is Travis, and so is Devin, and you see these great guys, and when you start talking to them, it's kind of weird. You're like, whoa, these guys are like so fucking analytical.
Mm-hmm. You have to be
So analytical. When it was a little disconcerting when on that podcast that's supposed to be hyping up your match. Your match is on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
This Saturday evening at what time?
It will be at 9:30
Eastern time.
9:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay, yep. So 6:30 for those of you who can't do the math, I'll do it for you. That's 6:30 in California. 6:30 p.m. And the YouTube channels are to go to John Berzink's YouTube channel or Paul's, which is Lethal Arms
Network. And I'm sure Gary will have it too. Gary's going to be there. So, well, one of those 3 channels is going to be streaming, if not all of them.
Why wouldn't Travis just make it so he's the only one who can stream it? It's his tournament.
How's he going to control it?
I don't know.
There'll be somebody in the crowd doing it on there on
right.
Facebook
right.
Live.
I mean, it's $500 in views for someone. Someone probably make $500 from YouTube. Okay, so on this podcast they start talking. John announces that he's pulling Devin in December.
Yep.
And it's just like, and Travis said it like, oh shit.
Yep.
That's Paul. That's not that. I mean, there's 2 things basically. This either turns into a really good training session for John, or you fuck that matchup.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right. I mean, there's no. That's how I saw it. As soon as he said that, I'm like, oh fuck. How does that affect you psychologically when you know, oh shit, he's gonna fucking pull like this guy in December? Like I know what's going on now.
It doesn't affect me at all.
None.
If you don't want to be the underdog, then you're not a competitor. If you want to be the guy who's favored, then you ain't a competitor and you're not familiar with competition. I'll be the underdog every day of the week and be happy doing it. There's no pressure. It doesn't mean that I don't want to win. Doesn't mean that I didn't train for 10 weeks to win. But I love it. You got, what do they say in football? You take them 1 week at a time. You don't start preparing for your opponent 2 weeks out. If you do that, you're setting yourself up for failure. So it doesn't bother me one bit. It's great news for me.
When you beat John on Saturday, will you let Devin know that you're willing to take his spot in Dubai in December?
No, that's John's spot. John's the man.
You're not gonna want John. That's the problem. You're gonna ruin that fucking match if you beat John. That match is done. No one wants to see that.
No, I won't. That's not true. They'll still pay to see that match. There's a million reasons why, if I pull the upset off, that could be said why I shouldn't have. John's only been pulling for 12 weeks now. John hasn't been training the whole time.
I'll tell you, the story's going to be he's washed up.
There's a million reasons, but I don't think that diminishes that match at all. And the way John was talking about wanting to pull Devin and smack him and crack him and everything else, that I don't think that this guy is not in the form right now that he's going to pull me when he would be in 8 weeks to pull Devin. I know that. You know what I mean? And the thing that is not great for me is that John pulled Chance, 10 weeks ago, 12 weeks ago. Then he pulled Dimitri Katchen. And now he pulls me. So John has all this. The guy who pulled Chance is not the guy who's pulling me. So right. I have a bigger task for sure at hand. But Devin is going to have twice the task that I have, regardless of outcome. Because John's not going to walk off. He's not going to he's not going to fade away into the sunset. It's not happening. You could see how passionate he is right now.
Dude, he is not a shit talker. And when he said he's like, hey, I was thinking about just letting Devin die with that loss. When he started that fucking little monologue, I was like, oh, fuck. It's like having fucking Mike Tyson talk shit about you. It's like not good.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But I mean, fuck, Devin got in the ring with Hafthor. By the way, I think that there was some implicit discussion that maybe it was even explicit that Devin's boxing training would have maybe hurt his arm wrestling. I disagree. 100%. I think it helped it.
You think?
Yeah. Here's why. You have it's psychological. Okay. After you date the prom queen, it's fucking, you're a
Right.
big game hunter. You hunt.
Right.
Don't matter how big your nose is, how tall you are. Once you date the prom queen, it's fucking just a hunting season for you. You
Yeah.
got it. And like this motherfucker got in there with half door
Yeah.
and didn't get knocked out.
Yeah.
Ref stopped it.
Yeah.
I just think it's the same thing with like when Devin was with special forces in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
He would tell me that when he would deploy, he told me that when he would deploy, he would come back just a stronger, just a better version of himself. Like it
Right.
just made him better holding a gun in his hand and
Right.
being deployed with these fucking animals who were out there to fucking kill or be killed.
Right.
And I believe that shit, you know?
Right. I see.
I mean, you know, the first time you get punched in the face at school,
mm-hmm. You realize you're
then
not made of glass.
you're like, wow, that's not so bad.
No, it ain't bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Or first time you crash on your bike, you're like,
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I wonder, you know, so when Devin pulled Michael Todd in Dubai,
and you know more than me. If you want to disagree with me, but let me have it. You know more than me.
There's schools of thought, and I respect your opinion. And I think it could very well be true, and I could think of other reasons why you would think the same thing.
And his arm is rested, right?
That was what I was going to get at. He's doing different training. He's got cardio. He said that those 5 weeks that he trained for that match was the first 5 weeks that he's ever taken off arm wrestling. That could be a positive thing. That's where I thought it was going to go. The only other thing is he lost a ton of weight. So like when he pulled Michael Todd, this guy's like 300 pounds. He was enormous. The biggest Devin I've ever seen in my life. Unbelievable. So he went from that to like getting down to like 260 or 255 to fight Halfdoor. I just wonder how big does he need to be to beat John? How big does he need to be? I mean, can he go in there at the same weight as John, or, you know, where's John at? And how serious is Devin going to take it? Because I have a feeling John's going to be big. Really
Devin's going to take it serious. He probably knows this is his last chance. And he's one of those guys. He's not going to be, I don't remember the 2015 match. I'm sure I saw it, but he's also going to try to get in John's head.
Right.
He's going to fuck with John.
Right.
He's going to come full Monty.
Right. Right. I mean, how much is that going to affect John, though? You think he can really get under his skin?
No, I don't. But it's a different John than 2015. I mean, he's 57 now. I mean, he's 10 years away from needing a cane.
That's true.
And their psyches old people, you know, your parents, they're getting like, it's too dark to drive now. You know what happens. John's getting there. John, you know it. John, you know it's true.
Oh, no, John.
You know it's true, John.
Don't listen to
him. Where do you go from here? What do you have a plan after this match? No.
My plans have gone like when WAL was going on. That was where my focus was, and it was like, you know, some people disagree with that, you know, but like I still pull local. Like I'll still pull local tournaments, but to me at that point, that was the thing that made sense. That was the best production quality, regardless of what your opinion is. The WAL was the coolest thing. So that, you know, they're still dangling the carrot. Like it's coming back. We don't know. But to me, that was the thing I liked the most at that time. It was the best thing available.
Who owns that? I don't know anything about it, but it sounds like there's just drama. Like there's always been drama.
It's Steve Kaplan. It's a business though. They need sponsorships.
Okay.
Like there's real business reasons why they're not doing it. Like it's not,
I don't think I know who that is, by the way, but go on. Sorry.
Yeah. He was involved with Game of Arms, I believe.
Okay.
So it loosely related. Travis kind of started WAL. He was involved in the inception of it. But anyway, it's kind of gone. So I don't know. You know, I'll do Arm Wars with Neil as long as travel, you know, gets back to normal. But I don't know. I mean, I'm just waiting for something really cool to come up. In the meantime, I'll just pull local, I guess. Or I don't know. It's hard. Like,
do you like the grittiness of this sport?
I love the climb. I absolutely loved being no one and going to the tournament and showing up and doing better than people expected. I love the idea of getting better, beating people I shouldn't beat, and having people figure out who I am. I love that. Now you get to a point where you have enough clout that you're getting matches thrown at you all the time. People want you to go everywhere it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? And it's cool, but it's also like, you know, I'm doing all this other stuff in my life. I turned down so many matches just because I'm not like super motivated for that. Now, somebody says, "Hey, I need you to pull John Brasek," you get really motivated. So, I mean, this fell on my lap. I don't know where I go from here. You know,
Yeah.
if I win, I'm sure I'll get more opportunities. If I lose, I'm sure there'll still be opportunities. If I lose, I'll just go back to doing what I've been doing, training hard and pulling local until something cool comes up.
You bring up something that's like so relevant to every sport. We all walk around the world and we're watching TV, right? We look at it through here, and the information's coming in, and it's our own like fucking show. We're like,
Yep.
whoa.
Yep.
And you think like, that's interesting what you said about the underdog. Your whole show changes from Conor McGregor's first fight to like his last fight. Like the whole, it's not even kind of at that point like the same sport. Like this other thing, like your first time you arm wrestled, I'm assuming like you had butterflies in your stomach and like
great, loved it.
You're like, oh shit, what's going on?
Yeah.
And you're like, maybe you looked at your wife or.
Yep.
And now it's like nothing like that.
No, I mean, you still get butterflies. I'm gonna have butterflies, but like you go to a local tournament, it's not the same thing anymore, you know, and things get weird.
People are trying to talk to you. You have expectations. They have expectations.
Right. Well, that's the other thing. The expectations it can be really shitty in arm wrestling because here's the deal. We all lose in arm wrestling. That is like the fact of the matter. Like John is the greatest arm wrestler of all time. He has taken hundreds of losses. Nobody talks about that. Like John told me one time when I was talking to him, first time I met him, he was talking about being at a tournament, drinking too many beers and losing to a guy that he can't remember his name. This happens in arm wrestling. But the minute you get to a status,
that's a great story.
Yeah, he said he can't remember the guy. He said this guy beat me in a tournament, like, and won the tournament, and I'm John Brasek, and I'm supposed to win it. And he said that's when I stopped drinking beers at the tournaments. But the reality is you get to a point where people don't expect you to lose, and if you lose, they're like, oh, what are you doing? That was terrible, you know. And the expectations there take the fun away, you know. So, but.
Can you explain Bitcoin?
Yeah, from what aspect? So,
like, what the fuck is Bitcoin? Have I ever held one in my hand?
No, it's intangible.
Can I go get one?
It's intangible. It's intangible.
Like, can I buy a gallon of milk with it? Like, what the fuck is Bitcoin? Who owns it? Where does it come from?
It's decentralized. So the idea behind cryptocurrency, first,
give me an example of something else that's decentralized. Like, what else is decentralized? Like, is oxygen decentralized?
It's a decentralized, unregulated currency. It is non-fungible. Okay, it's non-tangible item. There is nothing. It's the same as an MP3. An MP3 plays music. It's a file. It's online. It is what it is. Bitcoin is to CDs what MP3s are.
Okay.
So when our DVDs,
so CDs are cash and MP3 is Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Okay.
No longer tangible, not regulated by the federal government. It's largely a currency that is an idea. And it's all based behind blockchain technology, which is a form of encryption that allows transactions to pass from one person to another.
Okay, wait, stop for a second. So encryption means something that it's like a safe.
Yes. Let's say I want to send you money, right? I want to send you, let's not say Bitcoin because it's cryptocurrency. That's just the most expensive cryptocurrency. Let's say I want to send you 3 Litecoins. I make a transaction from my wallet to your wallet, hit transfer. That is encrypted, so it's safe. So that money goes from my wallet to your wallet. In order for that come from my wallet to your wallet, that encryption needs to be decoded, and that comes through blockchain technology. And I'm not I am not the best technical person to explain this, so I'm speaking from my perspective, which is very layman. But do
you trust the process or do you understand the process?
Both to an extent.
Okay.
An extent. I understand it enough and I trust it enough because I don't trust where our currency is going in the future.
Right.
So, and I've been around it now long enough that I do trust it. Very volatile, but I'm in the mining aspect. I don't buy cryptocurrency. I don't buy or sell it. I mine it. We have an LLC. We basically buy ASIC miners. We hook them up. We hedge that computing power against the cost of electricity, and we solve the algorithms for the currency to be exchanged. And by solving the algorithms, you're rewarded in coin. And all it really is the hardware cost and the electricity cost and the maintenance cost. and it's extremely lucrative.
It's funny you say that. This guy called me the other day and he said, hey, I want to make, well, first he contacted me on Instagram and he said, hey, I want to make a movie and I have some extra money. And I said, okay. And so we got on a phone call and I go, what do you do? And he goes, I'm involved in Bitcoin. And I go, and I tried to ask him to explain it. And that he said he doesn't even mine it himself. He builds warehouses
Yep.
for the Chinese government
Yep.
in the United States.
Yep.
To fucking mine crypto. I'm like, what the?
They can't mine over there. So here's the interesting part. And I'll give you the crash course of how I got involved. Three guys that I played college football with. I stumbled onto the idea of cryptocurrency through kids that I coached because, kids are always ahead of us technologically. So I decided, hey, I'm going to tell these guys, why don't we throw some money together and buy some coins? So we decided, we bought some coins, whatever, boom, 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 spent a little bit of money. Coins went up. We were like, okay, this is awesome. Let's mine it. So we built a mining rig based off of like computer parts and gaming computer GPUs. We built a mining rig. We bought a couple ASIC miners, and then
What are ASIC miner? What's an ASIC miner? Is that software?
An ASIC miner is a miner that's set up to mine a specific coin. A GPU miner has versatility. You build it, and it's on the Ethereum platform, and it's different. So the ASIC miners, you buy it, it mines that coin. I want to buy in Bitcoin. I buy this thing. It costs me $11,000. I plug it in. It mines Bitcoin. So we bought a couple different miners, and the coin tanked. So when the coin tanks, people turn their miners off because they're losing money on their electric cost. We didn't turn our miners off. We just let them go and we paid for them. So after the coin came back, we had a nice lump sum of money. So we turned that into more miners and at a lower cost, because when the coin tanks, the cost of the mines go down. So we bought a bunch of them at a perfect time, and that really started the process.
What's a miner look like? Is it basically just a computer? It's a box?
It's a box. It's like a metal box about this.
Does it have a screen?
No, it is just a metal box. It has a power supply. It has hash boards. It's just and it has fans on either side to ventilate it because it creates a ton of heat. So we buy 70 more of these things, and the coin goes up, and now we're making, I don't know, we're not crazy money. We're making like 15 grand a month on it. And so we start to expand, and we use a couple of my rental properties, and my buddy really started.
So like I rented a house one time and I grew weed in it. You rent a house and put in exhaust and.
Yes. You buy one or build one or do whatever.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's all it is ventilation. So I bought a house with a big garage in the back, a 2-story garage. And we got a bunch of, you have to outfit the electricity. So we got to have, a 400-watt service and all that stuff. So now my buddy.
What about solar? Can you have a solar miner?
We haven't found a way like to make the numbers add up for that. But technically you could, but it's very, they take a ton.
How about a CrossFit gym in the back and the assault bikes are hooked up to
that's a good idea.
Batteries.
I wonder what that would take. You'd have to have somebody pedaling those suckers, because if they're not on, they're not mining. Yeah, but anyway, we got ourselves pipelined in where my buddy is basically direct to wholesalers. So now we're brokering, which has gotten really, really interesting. And the arm wrestling community has reached out. I had an arm wrestler reach out to me wanting to invest $7.2 million. Unbelievable. So
so happy for you. I love stories like this. So, but let me go back to the mining thing.
Okay.
So a Bitcoin has like a number. It has its own social security number. It has its own. It has
only so many. So
there's only so many.
There's a cap. That's why Bitcoin is so valuable. There's a cap. I don't know what the market cap on Bitcoin is, but it's very high or it's very low, which is why the value of them are very high. Plus,
so your miner machine, once they're all fucking mined, one day it'll be like, hey, Paul, eat a dick. I'm done.
No. Because remember, the transactions still have to be decoded. So you will still be rewarded, but maybe it's in US dollars or another coin. The encryption still has to be decrypted. So the miners still have to work.
So if you send me money and I get it, if you send me coins and I get it, someone gets some money from that for decrypting it for me, a percentage.
So whatever those transactions are in a block. Let's like these all happen. Like, like imagine banking right now, like all the transactions that are going on from banks, like to and from right now in this moment, there's millions and millions every second. Right. So they get blocked together and encrypted together, and they get decrypted in that block. So once that block is solved, they all get released. And this stuff can happen like that with the amount of computing power that's aimed at these blocks.
Please, someone in the comments, fucking tell me you understand what he's saying.
I don't.
How come I'm so fucking dense? How come I cannot fucking understand this? I bet you Gary understands this shit. I bet you Gary's excited about Bitcoin.
Have you heard at all about the new kick towards NFIs? Which I
keep hearing about this term NFT. I don't even know what that is.
NFIs, yeah, they're non NFTs. I honestly don't even know the difference, but they're non-fungible things. So it's the idea of ownership of something that is not tangible, a piece of art that is not tangible. It is like the MP3. It's the file of it. So there's artists that are creating art on these NFTs, and the value is assigned by the demand, and people are like making serious money in this NFT NFI world. I am afraid of that. I am not ready for that. I got buddies who are in crypto who tell me to buy some of this stuff, and I'm just like, I don't understand it yet.
Fuck, I got to get my head wrapped around this. Or do I? Do I just keep raising my kids?
I don't know. So, sooner or later, cryptocurrency is going to be really, really mainstream, and it's on its way now. I'm waiting for the time where I can purchase things like used items. I want to buy a used car with cryptocurrency and not have to pay taxes.
Oh, why did China ban it?
You can't control it, really. So like if everybody wants, let's say your government wants you, they want you to pay sales tax. If you can purchase stuff, if it's much more popular overseas. So if I want to sell you this pen and I'm willing to ship it to you, and you are willing to pay, 0.0001 Bitcoin for this, you send it to my wallet, I ship it to you, the government gets no money. If I put this pen on eBay and I sell it to you for 50 cents, the government gets a sales tax. That's why they don't want you to do it.
Wow. And in Australia, they don't even want you to walk around. And in the United States, they want you to inject your kids with drugs.
Oh my gosh.
Or else they can't go to school.
Don't get me started on that. Oh my gosh.
And they want to tell your kids that boys can get pregnant. I'm telling you, that is not true, people. I'm willing to chop my foot off.
Yeah.
Now even seahorses can't get pregnant, but the dude does carry like a little bitch carry the babies around. But I'm okay with that. I carry a baby around too.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
Be careful. Just make sure you know everybody's pronoun.
Paul, don't ever go on a podcast with Gary and Travis and John again. You're your own shining star. Those motherfuckers didn't let you talk enough. You're awesome.
Oh no, I don't know. Neil likes me enough to put me on his, so I guess
you are so awesome. Yeah. All right, dude. Well, I will be watching. And I'll be watching your Instagram account. Anything, follow paul.linn.717. The match is this Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9:30 for those of you on the East Coast, and those of you who are in the middle, whatever. And anything you post on your Instagram about it, building up to it, I will repost. So if you get any information about where it's going to, tickets, sale, any of that, just so you know.
Yeah.
I don't think you can give enough information. I think people, unfortunately, if people like you and John and Travis don't really pump it up, it'll slip through the cracks. You know what I mean? Saturday, you'll get people miss it.
The tricky part is like the arm wrestling community is getting it through Facebook all the time. It's the general people who might want to see it, who are not pullers, are not, they're not getting that information out there. And there has been some changes and stuff in it that have made it tricky. But for the most part, like if you're a puller and you follow anything like in the sport, you'll be able to find it very easily. The information's all out there. It's Harvest Gap Brewery in Purcellville, Virginia. It's going to start at 5:30. The weigh-ins will be there between like 2:30 and 5:30. If you're interested in competing, please compete. The only way I get paid is based off of a portion of the entry fees. John's a bigger draw than me, so he gets money to show up. So if you want to support, come on out and arm wrestle.
Hey, does it cost money to watch? Or do you they make money because I go there and I buy beer and food. Are kids welcome?
Absolutely. It's very family friendly. I'll be bringing my boy.
Yeah, just so people know, for I can't speak for every arm wrestling tournament, but 99% of all the arm wrestling tournaments I've been to, it's kind of like CrossFit. It is very, very family friendly. Everyone's
Yes.
watching everyone else's kids. It is good fucking people.
Yeah.
Last month I transferred $400,000 worth of Bitcoin from my hot wallet to a cold wallet, and the government doesn't know and never will.
Yep.
What does that even mean? I don't know what that means.
I'm assuming when he says a hot wallet, he means one that is not like a, I'm going to lose the term right now. You can have a hard wallet and a soft wallet. Soft wallet is like one that's less protected. Hard wallet is like a physical thing that you can store them on and transfer to and from. It's more physical, and it's not, I mean, it is what it is. The worst part of cryptocurrency, and just so you know, it's an idea. You know, it's not, it's if
like gender, it's like gender. It's just an idea. It's just my imagination.
It's very fluid.
Yeah.
No,
it's not like sex. Sex is like cock and balls and vagina. and Bitcoin is like gender, just like you can just make that shit up. It's an idea.
That's a good comparison. It kind of is.
You can use that anytime you want.
Yeah, like if you lose your password to your wallet and you have 50 Bitcoins in there, those Bitcoins are going into the ether, never to be recovered. So that also adds to the value of Bitcoin. There's only so many of them out there, and I think they estimate like 33% of them are into the ether. So save your wallet passwords, your login, and your key. It's
like pennies like the Titanic, just gone.
Yep, gone
at the bottom of the ocean.
Yep, except you could find the Titanic. You can't find these. So if you get into crypto, please back up your wallet, your key, and your login.
Wow. Just so people do us all a service, clean up your diet, stop eating added sugar and refined carbohydrates so you don't get type 2 diabetes and then the wind blows and you die and they make it up and tell us it's some sort of virus. Also, please don't misuse the word gender and sex. Sex is real. When you see a bathroom that says all genders welcome, it's always been all genders welcome. All genders are welcome everywhere. People like me, I don't even know what the fucking gender I am, and that's okay, but I do know what sex I am. And I have to take a piss and hold my sex in a minute. All right, Paul, thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Sevan. It was an honor.